Welcome back to the Texas Truck Channel. Yes, we're going to do a hill test again on a vehicle that we're actually supposed to have up here, and that's always kind of nice. Look, it's fun taking the stuff you're not supposed to, but it's kind of more fun taking the stuff that can actually do it you're not too worried about. At least it's less stressful anyways. We've got the TRD Pro. Brian, give us the scoop.
Wait, I thought we were taking the Maverick up.
Oh, we could. You want to?
It's all-wheel drive.
R mode?
All right, let's bring out the beans, guys. We are driving the TRD Pro 4Runner, which we have not really spent time with before on the show. We've driven this thing at a couple of events. We've had this for a week to live with it. Look, we had the Tacoma TRD Pro last week, which was interesting. This is more interesting, I think. It comes out to $72,000 because it has an optional roof rack that's $1,795, and then it has a $500 rear axle skid plate, but it has no skid plates in the middle like the Trail Hunter has. More on that in our Trail Hunter versus this video, which we've also filmed. That's a lot of money. And I think it's probably too much for what this is because everything's just too expensive in life, and that is what it is. That being said, really liking the 4Runner on the TNGAF platform. I think it might be my favorite of all the TNGAFs. I think this might be the sweet spot for everything. But let's talk about the TRD Pro stuff in particular. I want to talk about the motor real quick. Can you pop the hood, Craig? Hey guys, Brian here. I want to pause this episode because there's something I gotta tell you. It's important. It's from these guys. It's from OUT. Independence Day coming up. If you want to save half off your elite membership, use FOJ25 to get 50% off right now through July 9th. Go Elite. That gives you national color-coded boundaries. It gives you the private land mapping, which we use all the time in Texas because we don't have a BLM area with national park lands. We have to go to parks or find trails that are gas line roads and things like that. Now we know that we're not getting in trouble with law. That's a big deal in Texas. People don't like you on their lawn. OUT Off Road gives you 650,000 miles of trails in the US and Canada and Baja. So for you guys out there in California going south, you've got options there too. And high-res maps that you can download for when you're off-grid. We do that on every trip because when you lose cell reception, you want to have it in the app. It works on your CarPlay, it works on your phone. It's a lifesaver. You're going to want to have it. And one of the new features that I love that I'm actually really excited about is dispersed camping areas. Initially, it was only available in a few states, but now it's rolling out to everywhere. They've done some trial spots, and look, Craig and I are actually planning a big trip in a few weeks up to the Pacific Northwest, and we've already planned out our route and where we're going to stay because we know where we can disperse camp. It's going to be freaking awesome, so stay tuned for that. Also, use this QR code right here if you want, and that takes you to our link to OUT as well, so you get double options there for discounts. All right, enough of that. Thank you, OUT, for sponsoring this episode. Remember, FOJ25 for 50% off your elite membership. Now, back to the episode. All right, starting out front, you do get a different look than you do with a regular 4Runner. You get this boss-looking shaker hood scoop, and we call it shaker because it shakes a lot, and that seems silly. Under the hood, you have a non-assisted hood, which is totally fine in all reality, but we have the iForce Max powertrain. We've driven this before, and I do want to say, I think this is calibrated a little bit better than all of them we've driven before. I think its hybrid engagement is smoother than we've had in this before. And its performance is a little bit better, but it's still not what 465 torque is advertised as. I just don't think we're ever feeling that when we're driving it. Now, this is rated at 326 horsepower, 465 torque. That's a lot, and for trail use, it's absolutely adequate. But all these orange cables basically mean there's a hybrid in here, and it's 400 pounds more. What it doesn't give you is anything faster to 60 or better miles per gallon, but it does give you a beefier mid-range. For trail use, that's probably helpful. Let's talk about approach angle, Craig. This is something Toyota's always been pretty good at, and I think they've gotten better at it with this new gym. You get a lot of plastic up front. You do have rigid lights, which are very rigid. And you have a light bar on this one from the factory. There's no aftermarket to do that. It just comes with it. The plastic is concerning if you're hitting deer, but the part that will get you is on trail, we have metal. So it does come with a TRD skid plate, and our approach angle is 33 degrees on the front approach.
Not going to be a problem for our hill.
That is great. Anything over, we know the main line needs 21 to 22 degrees to go without scraping. So we think we've got a really good chance there. They also do a great job, Craig, of this cutout on angle. So you can even come up on an object and turn your wheel to the right. We've done this on trail. You come at it not at a straight angle, you come at a line, you can get this nose over a lot steeper stuff than our hill would even do. We do get the TRD Pro wheels on this. It has a red center cap, which just looks great. It's a good accent for it. Black matte wheels, and then you have the Open Country ATs from Toyo Tires, which are actually a different tread pattern than you get on the Trail Hunter that's also the same size. It's 265 70 R18. These are plenty quiet, and these bite better than the Goodyear Wranglers you get on the Tacoma flavor of this trim. So I think that's better. Up front, let's show them the suspension, Craig. We have a forged red upper control arm, which is super just cool. The parking lot points are through the roof. And then you get a red spring to let people know that you're not goofing around. Wrapped inside that spring is a Fox QVS adjustable damper. Thank you, Toyota, for getting on that bandwagon. They've been kind of behind this. It's still not Ford Raptor spec of just adaptable wirelessly. You have to get out and crawl under in the mud and turn a knob to change it. But you do have the option. I like that they give you the choice. And I like the calibration of it. I think it's pretty good. We have it on soft mode right now, which Craig, you pointed out last night with 4 adults. How'd that work out?
A little soft. Medium might be the move.
Medium might be the move. Okay. When we got it from Toyota, one of these was firm and one was soft. It was a little out. We've got them all to soft now, and it feels really good on trail low speed stuff. You can firm it up if you're going to jump it. That's not what we're doing here today. On the side, Craig, you have no rock rail at all. That is something you get in the Trail Hunter or as an option here. It's also standard on the Tacoma TRD Pro. You get a smaller one on that. I'm not sure why we're not getting it here. Just a variance to point out. We do get 360 cam on this mirror right here, and you'll see that in a minute when we get the interior. Here's the optional ARB, the ARB roof rack. That's pretty cool. And then out back, you also have the 5-link suspension that you see on everything TNGAF, except for the base Tacomas, they have leafs. That's that. The good news is, Craig, we know this will articulate to the moon and back. So if we try to lift a tire and get a cool thumbnail image, it just won't get off the ground. That is the benefit of a live rear axle with independent front. In fact, I'll argue to all your Jeep boys out there, you don't need a solid front axle to do well off-road. This is proof of it. So just stop. Just stop saying that. It's not true. Bronco proves that as well. Coming out of the back, Craig, you have some variances between this and the Tacoma flavor of the TRD Pro. You don't get an ARB bumper, an ARB in the back. You don't get ARB recovery points that are red, front or back. I don't understand that. How much was the Tacoma TRD Pro?
Same price.
It was $72,000?
It was 67.
67 because it didn't have a roof rack and stuff. Okay, why is that happening? This thing needs metal bumpers if you're gonna do stuff like that. Of course, I guess this isn't an Overlander. It's a, I just feel like it needs that. I just
Well,
seems
the
silly.
Trail Hunter doesn't get it either.
Why? I just don't understand that. So anyways, the Tacomas do get metal bumpers in the back and real recovery points. This does have recovery points right here, and they are beefy, they're fine. But put these things freaking out in the front and make them red. Toyota, it's that easy. Everyone else does it. Make them visible and easy to get to. You gotta crawl down in the mud to get to this thing. It needs to be like right here. So anyways, that's my annoyance for the day. That's really all I got. Breakover and departure angles are 24 degrees. That's real solid too. Let's check out what we have inside.
As Brian's getting in to show us the off-road goodies and all the pages that we have to help us get up and over the hill, we also get 10.1 inches of ground clearance, which is plenty and way more than you get in the Land Cruisers. So, Brian, I was telling him about the ground clearance is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Especially compared to some other TNGAFs. We got a lot of goodies. Talk us through them, and then what's our plan of attack?
Well, let's go with the goodies first. Let's show the people what we have. If you've been familiar with our TNGAF coverage before, you'll be familiar with this cluster right here. You have 3 modes on the cluster you can toggle through. This one I have is basically the sport mode one, my favorite. It gives you turbo boost gauge and also the iForce Max, the hybrid motor input. So as you're rolling in, it tells you how much power it's putting out. This one is the full cluster gauge for all your metrics. So you have your oil temp, you have battery, all coolant temp and transmission temp. That's nice to have all that stuff. And then you can get to the MPG one. That's dorky, but there. But I do want to talk about the cameras real quick before we talk about anything, because that is an off-road benefit. So many cameras, in fact, that the rearview mirror is also a camera. That's helpful if you have different height drivers. It just doesn't matter where this is. It'll always work out where you want it to be. Down here is where all the commands are happening. You also have more over here. Toyota does such a good job with buttons. Good job, Toyota. Down here you have your light wire button and you have auxiliary switches right here that are pre-wired from the factory. I like that a lot. And then your traction off is over here. In the middle, just like our other Toyota products, you have your 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. There is no 4 auto.
Part-time 4-wheel drive only.
Part-time 4-wheel drive, that's fine. Tow haul, drive mode, MTS, and crawl control, all the goodies. I do like how this controller works, way better than the Ford controller. And then you have your camera button right here, rear diff lock, which only works in 4 low, which is sad. Then you have the stabilizer disconnect, which we simply won't need today, but I think we'll play with it at some point. Oh, apparently we're in an Everest color one, and we're in a TRD off-road trim. Okay, well, can you change that?
Yep.
Let's go to, that's the bronze. There's no mud bath in here.
Nope.
Wow. Well, maybe that'll be an update some other time. We're red at the moment. So we have the overhead right here, which gives you a good front angle. You've got the rear view as well for backing up. Now you've got the tire angle. I can see what each tire is doing left and right. That's just really good. They beat everybody at that. And your rear as well. You also have, there we go. There's the off-road page. And it tells you where the tires are going. And it gives you overhead views of each. That's pretty cool. I like that feature.
Yeah, that's pretty handy.
This one page also gives you your inclinometer for tilt and incline. So that's pretty neat. I wish it gave you a number readout. It just shows you on the gauge.
It's about useless.
It's about useless, but it tells you, you know, when you're going to flip over after it's done probably. Down here, what you can do is you can hit MTS, and that changes. Oh,
well, you gotta be in 4 high.
Oh, I gotta be in 4 high. Well, let's just do that. Come on, 4 high. Oh, 4 high. There we go. We got it. We had to roll it. Now we can hit MTS, and it gives us all these buttons right here. So we can twist and go from auto to dirt to sand to mud to deep snow. Okay. I don't see anything like Baja mode though. Anything like performance?
No.
Okay. Let's go to, you have crawl control. This works in 4 high and 4 low, but not too high.
And in reverse.
Okay. And then you can adjust your speed using this knob right here. That's pretty cool. Do you want to test that today?
I think we need to do like we did last time.
Okay.
2-wheel drive, nothing, no modes, and then just work our way from our obstacle there.
Boop. Now we can't use a rear diff or anything like that, so let's work our way up and see what it takes to get this hill. We are just in normal mode, and traction is on.
2-wheel drive. All right, so we're going up the hill just like we just got in the car, and we hadn't even thought about any modes. This is how we did the Tacoma. So we're gonna do the same thing in the 4Runner. If you remember on the Tacoma off-road hill test, if you haven't seen that, Sam and I had a little trouble, and it started overheating a little bit. Curious to see if that'll happen here. I have a feeling it'll do better. It's cooler today, number one. Number two, this has better tires that grip better, so that should make a big difference. We'll see.
Foot to the floor.
Yeah, we could get really crazy. We could bump it. We could do all that. We'll maybe do that here in a minute. See if we can do this.
Okay.
But right now we're just trying to step our way through the obstacles, trying to show the people the features.
Okay.
So 2-wheel drive, normal mode, not going to make it just because we don't. It's too much of an angle to get up and over. Brian, what's your next strategy? I think we just go 4 high.
I think 4 high, normal mode, see what we get.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, now we got the front wheels helping. Let's see what happens. And yeah, well, there you go.
That's it.
Brian, we made it, and it definitely did better than the Tacoma did.
Yeah, that's true.
Because these tires are better than those Goodyear Wranglers that you absolutely hate.
Time for a tire moment.
These are definitely better.
Yeah.
Look, tires freaking matter, and so we proved that once again. We did stop at the worst obstacle of the hill and then try to get over. So,
well, before you get mad in the comments, we try to make it as hard as we can to demonstrate what the cars are capable of doing. That's on purpose. We know if you're on the trail, you would bump it earlier.
All right, Brian, I think we need to try something else before we move on because
I can't help myself.
you can't help yourself. Sam did R mode, or he did R mode last week, and that was kind of cool. But you really want to try just the, can we give it a little more momentum and get it up in 2-wheel drive?
Very few vehicles have done this before, and it's been all the Raptors. Every Raptor's always done it, and I believe one ZR2 did it.
Yeah.
And without 2-wheel drive, without a diff lock.
Look, we know we're only scraping on the spots where we have skid plates, so I'm not too worried about that.
We are protected here.
And up front where you get the first initial bump, we got plenty of protection there as well. So I say let's do it.
Let's do it. Plenty of angle, too.
Lost it.
I was foot to the floor.
Oh.
Sorry, too late. Dang it.
We tried 1-wheel drive, it didn't work. Brian, let's try crawl control. Crawl control is really good in here, and I do like showing that feature off.
Okay, let's do that. I want to just give it all the, because people are going to be like, oh, you can use 4 low.
Yeah, let's just do all the goodies.
Use 4 low. Let's, oh, I got to go, hang on.
Well, this is part of the 2.
I got to go to 4 high first.
Yeah.
Let's go to drive. I'm going to go to crawl control.
Yes.
And let me see if I got any modes in here. Let's do MTS. I'm going to go into, you think rock for this?
Yeah, rock, yeah.
Okay, we're going to go to rock. And then we'll go to crawl control. There we go. I'm going to put it on second from the highest.
Okay, and then let's do rear locker and let's do front stabilizer. Let's just do all the stuff.
Let's do all the stuff.
All of it.
Everything is activated, and I'm going to actually take a weird line. I'm going to go hybrid and then trying to get it to articulate a little bit. Okay.
All right, here we go. This is crawl control in action with all the goodies turned on. It's actually quite impressive. Crawl control just works.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's almost makes it boring, but it's actually really impressive in these Toyotas.
Dude, I want to make fun of it for being boring, but it's shocking how good it is, and Ford can't touch it. Even with the Bronco stuff, it's not that smooth.
It's so good. It's one of those deals where actually on the trail and obstacle and actually in real environments, it's actually helpful. We always make fun of it previously.
Yeah.
It's good enough now. It's actually a tool.
Well, and we don't use it because we want to do it ourselves.
Right.
Right. So it's kind of like lane keeping. Like, okay,
Sure.
fine. If you're on a racetrack, I want to be driving. Right. That being said, if you're new to off-roading, this is a great thing to lean on to help you through stuff that you may be uncomfortable with.
Right.
It's a valid tool. And like I said earlier, our Ranger has off-road modes. It's 720p, and this is freaking 4K.
Yeah,
it's a huge difference. Huge difference. So good job, Toyota, on that.
All right, with that, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let us know how crazy we are for the things we do on this dang hill.
Yep.
And but also, what do you want to see up this hill, and what 4Runner spec would you get?
That's the biggest thing.
See you on the next one.
Thanks.